I'm Shaw Grigsby, and we're here at the 2013 Bassmaster Classic, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're fixing to go out in the Ice Bowl on Grand Lake. And you know what? This is not a jerkbait. You know what that is? That's Strike King's little finesse jig. And that dude will catch them in cold water. It's the best cold water bait that I know, because slow, it's like crawfish down there. You drag it around, in and around everything from docks, brush, rock, you've got them. Football jig, keeps your hook from getting hung up, keeps your trailer up, and look what I'm gonna put behind it is a little Strike King rodent. And I just hooked a little baby rodent on here, run it right down the center, pop it out, run it up there, and there's my perfect little cold weather, non-jerkbait, catch 'em package right there. Strike King finesse jig with a rodent.
This is not a jerkbait, but you can catch a fish on it on Grand Lake in the Classic. Watch out for the spinnerbait. Somebody is liable to bust a few really big bass on a spinnerbait. Old school, baby. And it's not a jerkbait.
Hey folks, I'm Mike Iaconelli here at the 2013 Bassmaster Classic, and this is not a jerkbait. It's a brand new bait called a beach shad, and I'm gonna rig this bait on a VMC darter head. This is an 1/8 ounce VMC darter head. You've got a bait that's small, that's compact, and it's got a very subtle, tight action, and it looks a lot like a dying shad, and that's what they're feeding on.
I'm Greg Hackney, and we're at the 2013 Bassmasters Classic, and this is not a jerkbait. And I do plan on catching one or two on it this week. It's a 3/4 ounce hack attack spinnerbait. Hey, I'm Boyd Duckett, and this is not a jerkbait, but it will catch fish on Grand Lake, and it will catch fish at this year's Bassmaster Classic. What this is a 4x4 jig. This is a jig that a 4x4 jigs company made for me specifically. This is a brush jig that I had made that has a big gap. You see the distance between the line tie and the hook, and that guarantees a hookup when you're down in those deep brush piles. Sometimes you'll miss them. And of course, I've put on the back of that a rage chunk. That's the chunk that's similar to the rage crawl, basically, but that's in a chunk form. It's got a lot of movement at a really slow speed. When you want to catch a big one in cold water, that jig is hard to beat.
This, my friend, is not a jerkbait. It's an old school wiggle board. That's right, old school, like my father's shoes. But it will catch a fish on Grand. It can catch the winning fish on Grand. So next time you want to go out, you don't have to throw a jerkbait. Check out the wiggle board.
If you can feel it with your hands, that's the key part.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Van Dam. We're here at the 2013 Bassmaster Classic, and this here is not a jerkbait, but I plan on putting it to good use all weekend long. Jig's good about everywhere, you know, around the country. Don't really matter what time of year, so it's always something I'll have tied on.
This is not a jerkbait. You know, this is another classic wintertime bait, and it's a crankbait, you know. This is a Rapala Shad Rap in size 5, and when you're crankbait fishing in cold water, make sure the bait has a tight wobble. This bait's made out of balsa, super tight wobble. One last little trick, upsize your hooks. If I put bigger hooks on this, and I've upgraded it to 2 number 4s, I'm actually gonna get this crankbait to suspend. In the wintertime, you can fish other baits besides the jerkbait. Try a Rapala Shad Rap, you're gonna catch some fish.
This is not a jerkbait. This is also going to catch them. This is going to play an important role in the Bassmaster Classic. The small finesse jig with a yum crawl chunk on the back of it. That's going to be my go-to when I'm fishing deep brush piles. When those fish slide down just a little bit, we've been dealt with a lot of snow, a lot of icy rain, water temperatures falling. I have to go a little deeper. Don't count the jig out.
Something else that's not a jerkbait. The shimmer spinnerbait. Made by Rich Law. It's probably the most unique looking spinnerbait you'll ever see in your entire life. You notice the crooked wire, the way it has bent, all that is for is added vibration to the bait. And instead of just the blade spinning and the skirt shaking, the whole bait comes through the water shaking more like a chatterbait than a spinnerbait. And they will definitely bite this on Grand Lake this week.